Okay, so why do we have an affinity towards our siblings or cousins or relatives and all that? Okay, it's understandable that a person or a child has affinity towards its parents because the parents are the ones who are feeding it and giving it everything and all that, right? But why do we share affinity with our siblings? Because if you think about it, siblings are they're gonna share your resources, right? Like your parents' time or their money or their affection or whatever, right? Whatever they bring home, you have to share that with your siblings. So why do you? That's actually a bad thing, right? So if you lose out on getting some of the stuff. So why would you like your siblings? Um, I mean, but you're happy to share food and stuff with your siblings, right? But let's say you have a girlfriend or a wife or whatever, would you be happy to share her with someone else? uh, no, right? So why are you okay to share your parents with your siblings? So that is the question. And why do some stuff like some creatures like I can't give you the exact name of it, but some other guy made some other video about it. Some bacteria, some strain of E. coli or something. They conduct pitch battles. I mean, if in a medium of food, there's like if there are two kinds of bacteria present, they kind of have a battle, and some of the bacteria commit suicide, and when they commit suicide they release a kind of toxin which kills the other bacteria but preserves its own kind, right? So where is the motivation coming from, or where is, I mean, they don't even have brains to figure this out, but why are they doing it? Why is there an affinity towards your like I said, your uh, siblings or your genetic material? So I mean, I don't want to just call it genetic material, but there's a connection there, right? So why is it? What's the reason behind it? Scientifically or whatever. Um, and the reason is what I think is this. I, I think it's all because of this. See, it's like this. Um, you are a creation by your parents, right? And in the same way, even your siblings are a creation of your parents. So the purpose of your life is kind of the same as the purpose of their existence as well. I mean, obviously you're going to be doing different things, but there is a commonality of purpose in your existence, right? So that's why this I think is the sentence. Just like you, they are a creature. I mean, a creation of your parents, and who are in turn creations of their ancestors, and so there's a commonality of the purpose of your existence, right? So that is why we feel a connection, we feel an affinity towards uh, your siblings and your cousins, and then your community men and your nationality or your regionality or so on and so forth, right? um, so now I'll get back to what's mentioned in the topic. So with this, right, uh, I mean, preserving one's own language, I also think there's the same reason behind it. It's like, I mean, there are many people who are Tamil fanatics or people who like Tamil a lot. I think within the whole of South India, I think Tamils are a little bit more affectionate of your language. Or I mean, I guess in general, every language is in a way, they like their mother tongue a lot. So I think this is also the affection behind someone else's language, because just like your siblings, your language is also something that was created by your ancestors, right? So by preserving that language, you're preserving all the effect of this, your ancestry, and this whole chain of um, a lineage, right? So I mean, it's like, people do a lot of things, right? It's all about making. If you watch my other videos on the purpose of life and everything, I would have mentioned that it's all about making an impact, right? So bringing a child into this world is a major impact, but it's not just about bringing in a child. Other things that you create as well, like the language that you create, or even the religion that you create, or even if you're a scientific theory that you create, even that, those are all things of creation of your ancestors, and you being a part of them. It's like, uh, you know you gotta, I mean, you will obviously have an affection towards it, and you will try to preserve it as well. I think that's one of the things. So yeah, I guess you can sort of think about it, and then feel, I mean, it's like, people conduct these debates, and then that English is replacing a lot of languages, and there's a lot of English imperialism, a lot of majoritarian imperialism, or rather Hindi imperialism here in India and all that. But yeah, and then and then there's like a lot of shows that are conducted which pinpoints how Tamils are not really, some of the Tamils are rather talking in English. Or I mean, this is applicable for everything. Like even uh, a lot of Delhi guys, they are, even in Delhi, people say that you need to give importance to Hindi and not English and all that, right? So, but you have to give them the right reasons for the guys who adopt a foreign language. You have to give them. They just say, if I learn English, if I talk in English with a good accent, people would think that I'm of a better social status. People would think that I'm educated and that I'm smart and witty or whatever. So people who speak in English all the time, they they give out. They have some reasons on their own as well. So if you're gonna say to them, no, you have to preserve Hindi because Hindi is a language. You have to preserve Tamil because Tamil is a language. You have to try to give them the right reasons, right? So, so this, I think, is one of the things that you can sort of give out. I mean, it's like this, which if you have a piece of, if you have money and you have to gift it to someone, would you rather gift it to your brother, or would you rather gift it to someone, a total stranger, right? You would rather gift it to your brother, right? Because you have that affinity, because your brother is a creation of your parents, just like you, and there's a commonality of purpose. And it's the same way, you would, try to preserve the language that was created by your ancestors, right? And so that, and in that way propagate their influence or impact around other things, and do that thing, right? So I think that could be the reason, but I think there's a lot of complications as well in real life, because yeah, people don't realize why they have to preserve their own thing, and they find the foreign language or religion or morals or way of acting a little bit more I mean, they adopt them for their own personal gains, but you have to explain to these guys why you can't just blindly accept something foreign, right? And I mean, the same way with, I think, all the religious conversions and everything, they have different reasons as well. I mean, it's not about glamour. I mean, I think people. I mean, I don't know if I'll be in trouble for saying this, but I'll just say it, right? Um, in India, I guess people are all. I mean, Hinduism was the original religion here, and then what happened with the Muslim invasion and the British invasion, and they brought in the foreign religions, and I mean those foreign religions were also quite keen on propagating themselves here. So Yeah, so what happened is, according to Will Durant, I think some 80 million Hindus were killed over a period of 500 years or something, and a lot of them were threatened and converted and everything. I think the same goes with the British Inquisition as well. If you talk, read about the Inquisition of Goa and stuff, there was a lot of torture and you know children being tied to wheel and eyes being plugged out or whatever. All those things, to make the locals convert, I believe. Um, I think that might be one of the things, and then the other thing is you might get privileges as well if you convert to the religion of the ruling class. You would be exempt from tax, um, and you would be looked upon favorably with the ruling class. And there were one you could say that there was a lot of perks in trying to convert to that, much like what is happening to the Yazidis in Iraq today. Yes, right. So with this aspect, but the thing is this. A little bit about the ancestry. I would suppose, see, all of those guys, the supposed Islamic invaders who came into India, right? So they were all actually Mongoloid. They had the Mongoloid Y DNA, because I'll tell you what, whether you take the Ghaznavids or whether you take the Tughlaqs or whether you take the Delhi Sultanate or you take the Mughals or whoever, right? They all came from Iran, and they were all part of the Turkic group of people. The Turkic people they actually came from Turkey, but they didn't originate in Turkey. They originated in Mongolia, and then they came to Turkey, and then they ruled Turkey for like 150 years or something. And then, so a lot of Turkish people also carried the Mongoloid Y gene. Obviously, those warriors, they probably just bred with the local Turkish women, and it was the same scenario as well. Only the soldiers came to India and then they married the local women and converted and all that. So a lot of them have the Mongol white uh, genes, and other than that, a lot of them were converted as well, right? So if you ask an average person today, a person who's converted, right, converted Indian guy today, if you ask him why did your parents convert, either could be Muslims or Christians, right? If you ask them why they converted, what do you think the reason they're gonna give you? Are they gonna tell you that my family converted to escape persecution, or that my family converted to gain some favors from the ruling class? Do you think they would agree these things? Because I know that it was a very bad situation in those times, but if you say that my ancestors converted to avoid persecution, the question is that you were a little bit cowardly, or you were a little bit of a side changer, right? So they don't want that, right? So obviously the answer they would say that is that Hinduism is a very backward religion, and it had a lot of this caste system and all that. But this is it's such a, I mean, caste system is it's a idiotic thing, but I don't think it's entirely Hinduism. It was probably the social structure. It's like a father letting his trade secret, trade knowledge only to his son, and then they maintain community. They didn't want to give away their trade secrets to someone from outside the community or something like that. I don't think it's got too much to do with the religion or anything, but I don't want to get into that. But the general thing is, if you ask a converted person why they converted, why their ancestors converted, this is the answer that they would give. They would give that the native religion was kind of stupid, and that's why their ancestors were kind of intelligent, and that's why that's probably the version that they would have been indoctrinated with, or and that's how they would defend themselves. It's like if you ask the Yazidi kids 2-3 generations down, why the Yazidis converted, they wouldn't say that ISIS was coming and killing everyone. They would say that, oh, because um, this religion is a very good religion, that's why we converted. That's probably the belief that they would have. I think that most of the, I think that, this could be one of the major reasons where people converted. But the thing is, it's like this. Even if it's a kind of a shitty religion, right? Shitty practice or shitty moral, I think you have to kind of stick with it. I didn't say that out correctly. It's like you have to give more importance to the religion of your ancestors. See, I don't believe in God, right? But I kind of, I look at the indigenous religion with more favor, because see, it's like we just say that's a school of thought. Hinduism is a school of thought, and Christianity is a school of thought, or Islam is a school of thought, right? So if you say that, uh, let's say Islam is spread a lot, right? Islam has been the more successful in spreading. Even in Indian lands, Islam has spread. It has spread across the world, whereas the Hindu religion did not spread that much away from India, right? If you say that, what it means is Islam is the better religion. That's what it generally implies. People don't really think about wars and how it was spread through the sword or things like that. They don't really think about the military conquest or aspects of it, but they generally say that if this thing spreads better, if this has been accepted better, this is a better system, right? So they say Islam is a better religion, and then the Arabs who created Islam, they are the better people. That's how the argument goes deductively. So religious superiority is a proxy for racial superiority, right? And the same way with the spread of Christianity, what will happen is, even though the whites did not create Christianity, it was some Jewish guy again in the Middle East region. Christianity spread because of the efforts of the Europeans, right? So Europeans would see the spread of Christianity as an impact. The spread of Christianity, I think, the Europeans would sort of majorly claim responsibility for it, and then they would see it as, spread of Christianity as thanks to them. So even though they didn't create it, they helped propagate it. So that's their impact on the world, and so that reflects on their superiority somehow, because they were able to make more of an impact, right? So I'll actually come back to this. The same thing is applicable for language as well. So even if you did not, if your parents if your ancestors did not exactly create that particular language or a particular theory or whatever, if they have actively done something in promoting it and making it propagate, so if it is their impact, so that's again, it's actually their impact. So you don't necessarily have to have created the language, but you should have your parents or your ancestors should have done something to propagate it. See, for example, we are all that's the case with us as well. Like I am a Modlyar, Arcot Modlyar, and we are also called as Tulva Velala. That's the name of my channel as well at the moment. So if you see that, we actually came to Tamil Nadu some 800 years ago. We were part of the Hoysala king Veera Velala, and now we became Velalas of Tulva Velala, and then we became part of the Tamil society, and so we had the title Modlyar. The thing is, we were originally Tulu speaking about 800 years ago, but now we've adopted Tamil for the last 800 years. And so you see my parents and my ancestors for the last 800 years, they've been speaking and propagating Tamil, right? So they were part of the Tamil society, and they were part of promoting Tamil for the last 800 years. So that's why my affinity is more towards Tamils rather than the language Tulu, right? So that's one of the affinities, right? And the other way is that, right, it's like this. It's not just about your direct ancestors, or whatever is created by your ancestors. There could be some other affinities can be formed in other ways as well. Like for example, people form affinities based on the city you're from. Let's say you're a Chennai. Like Chennai has got a lot of Telugus, Malayalis, and even other language people as well. I guess Kannadigas as well, I believe. They a lot of them also proudly associate uh, themselves to be part of Chennai or part of Tamil Nadu, even though they are originally from Kerala or Andhra or whatever, right? Why is that? Why are those people happy to say that, oh, we are Chennaites, or we're from Tamil Nadu or whatever, right? That reason is this: the affinity that's formed over there is something like this. Let's say your grandfather is a Tamil novelist, right? Uh, so he has created some artworks, he has created some novels which the people in Tamil Nadu have read, like and so that's your granddad's impact on them. And so those guys, they would have sort of, they are influenced by your granddad, by your ancestors, by your okay, let's just stick to the granddad alone, right? So those guys who are in Tamil Nadu are influenced by your grandfather, right? So, and they've actually gone on to create other stuff, and they've actually gone on to create other people who are living in Tamil Nadu and all that, right? So a part of your grandfather lives in them, in the people who read your grandfather's work, and the people who acted that way and talked that way, and who's influenced other people who had kids. And so a little bit of your grandfather lives on in them, right? So this has happened for every single generation. Now every single generation of your ancestors has interacted and made some sort of a contribution to the Tamil society, right? So that's why you feel an affinity to the other people in part of that Tamil society as well. So it's not exactly that you have to be that language person, but even if you've been, so that's why even if they're not your direct genetic lineage, you have a little bit of affinity to the people in Tamil Nadu, or and the same way with Chennai. You think you being a Chennaiite have made some sort of an impact on the people here and the culture here, and so some people also feel that way. They think that they've made a contribution to they being a Chennaiite, even though they're from North India, or they're from Kerala, or they're from Andhra, or they're from Karnataka. They think they have made a contribution to the Chennai system, and that's why they're happy to be part of this particular city, Chennai or Bangalore or whatever, right? So that's how they form that association. But like I said, it's partly this and partly a fault of the brain as well. It's like this: a brain, right? It's I mean, the greatest affinity obviously is the genetic affinity. It's like if your cousins go to US, if your brother goes to US, has kids over there, right, who don't talk in English at all, who don't talk in Tamil at all, they just talk in English, they act very American and all that, but you still kind of wish well for them, right? Because they are, like I said, same lineage and same genes and same commonality of person and all that, right? So genetic affinity is still a lot, but with the brain, again, it's a very inefficient thing. If you've seen my previous blog on the purpose of life as well. So what it assumes is that the brain assumes that people who look like you, act like you, who talk the same language as you, the brain thinks that they are the same genetic stock as you, right? That's because that's the subconscious brain coming into effect. So that's why you feel a kind of an affinity to other people who are speaking Tamil as well, irrespective of their origins, whether from north or from other states or whatever, right? Even if you don't have a genetic affinity connection with them, you still kind of have that affinity, because your brain is fooled into thinking that anyone that looks like you, behaves like you, and talks like you, they are the same genetic stock as you. That's what brain kind of assumes. That's another aspect of how you form this affinity and everything, right? So yeah, I want to conclude this by saying that it's like this, so just like your brother is a creation of your parents, just like you, so is your language and your morals and your religion or identity. But I'm not saying that you have to follow it if it's wrong. If you, I mean, I don't follow any religion, because I think religion is, I don't believe in God. If you don't, I mean, if it's outright incorrect, you don't have to go with it. That change you have to do, and you have to adapt and everything. That you gotta do, but you also have to realize that if you don't exactly preserve all the things that um, make you up, it's not just your genetic thing that defines you. Your like I said, your language, your culture, your morality, everything that is created by the genetic chain that you belong to is a part of you. That's your identity. So that's why it's important for people to preserve their mother tongue, or preserve their give importance to all of which that their ancestors have created. If you're gonna just lose it for the sake, I mean, I know that it's a trade-off, right? If you speak English better, I think you get more opportunity and more respect here, um, but it's a trade-off. You are losing a part of yourself if you're not promoting Tamil or Hindi or the other languages, right? So you gotta realize this. So, and yeah, so that is the reason behind making this video, if it makes sense. Also check out some more the links in the description of the video, and some of the other blogs as well, and on the purpose of life and other stuff. I mean, it kind of paints a picture. So yeah.